This is something new that I'm trying tonight. I got sinew. I bought some processed sinew. So it's the leg tendons, and they're hammered out and pulled apart, and they're in these fibers like this here. And I tried pulling them apart, and sometimes when they're dry like this, I pulled some bunch apart, and this is what I wound up with after a while working with it. And I watched several YouTube videos, and one guy says, I wet them. That's the secret. He takes them and he wets them, he soaks them in a little water, and you're able to pull them apart and separate them even more. So you get these, these are processed, but you want to process them some more. So you take them and you pull them apart some more, like that, see? Now over here I have short ones, and over here I have longer ones that are longer that I'm laying down. And I'm laying them on paper towels, and when I get enough, I put another paper towel down, and I lay them on top. Okay. So over here, sometimes you get some pieces that on the end, you can't pull apart, and it's like a knot. So what I've been doing with those is saving the ends pieces, because you can heat these up and make hide glue out of them. But there's a protein in the tendons. And from what I understand, like the Indians, or, would take sinew and they could chew on it and get it wet. And there'd be enough of that protein, that glue in the sinew, they could lay it on the bow after they chewed on it and softened it. And it would adhere to a bow. They'd, lay it out, apparently, and let it dry. The other thing they did was, from what I understand, from what I've been watching on, YouTube and reading, they take the sinew, and when they made the arrows, they wrap it around the feathers too. So anyway, tonight I'm processing the sinew, and I'm putting them in under the paper towels here, because when I don't want them like this here. I don't want to get something like this. I want them fairly straight. When I lay them down, it's not going to be too bad. And I've been working on this for a couple hours now. I got more time. I got to work on it for a couple of more hours, to process it. But I'm going to try something new. I'm going to take a little AE40, and AE40 could be diluted a little bit with denatured alcohol. So I'm going to get a little piece of wood, make a little test, soak some through, wipe it off, with gloves. You got to wear disposable gloves, lay it on, and you got to have it ventilated. So I'll be doing it outside. Lay it down, and in 24 hours, that AE40, sets hard. It's cured, okay? And they use it for laminating things. I use it for gluing the buffalo horn tips on the bows. I've glued cracks in bows and everything else with it. It's really good stuff, and it does flex. And the whole idea of this is, I'm not trying to create a primitive bow, even though it is a primitive bow. It's a hunk of wood, and what I want is make something that's going to be waterproof and durable, and I'll have my grip with the shelf cut out so I could shoot accurately. And I want to see if I can make a shorter hunting bow for me to take in the woods and not have to worry about weather. And I told the story, I shortened the 58-pound bow and I pulled it back, and it felt like let off. And what happened was the cell structure or whatever broke down. It couldn't handle, I put too much stress on it. And supposedly, after fire hardening, you increase the belly of the bow, makes it harder, and the belly is the part that faces your belly, and the back of the bow, the part that's away from you, the sinew will make almost indestructible, so the fibers, when you bend it, don't lift up. So I got a fairly safe 60-inch bow that I'm making. I think that'll be a fairly safe design, and we're going to lay the sinew on that. If the test piece works out good, we're going to be trying AE40. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so here's the test. We got AE40 mixed up here. We can dilute it with denatured alcohol. I have some Sinew, I have some boards. We're just going to see a little bit of denatured alcohol, how it thins and how it acts. I'm going to see if it's even doable. See if we can thin it out enough to make it work. If not, it's going to be strictly tight bond. Well, so far I'm not really liking the consistency of it. I guess it is kind of like hide glue when you look at it. It's kind of like a jello-ish. Well, let's see. Let's give it a shot. Okay, here we go. We're going to take a couple of strips of this, get it wet. I mean, it's damp already. These are damp. We're going to dunk them in. Going to wipe them off. We're going to lay them down on the wood. You know, I guess doing this here, it is doable. Obviously, I can't stop the camera now, but what I may do is edit part of this out and show you after I get it laid out. Okay, this is the AE40 did that, and we got some tight bond in here now with some pieces of Sinew. Okay, the reason I did this experiment here, we're going to let it dry, is that somebody said that tight bond will not bond to itself, will not glue to itself. Well, I looked it up and that's false. So in other words, if I lay down Sinew with tight bond and I want to add more later, I can. Somebody put false information saying that it won't bond to itself, but it will. So that's why I thought I'd try the experiment with AE40, which is sloppy, it's sticky, you know, it does thin, it thins, and it looks like kind of like Jello. So we're going to let this dry overnight, and we'll see what it looks like. These are the test pieces in the morning. This is AE40, this is tight bond. Normally you would wrap them with gauze to squeeze out the extra glue, and we're going to wait till the afternoon, check it, and see what it looks like. After I tilled the bow, I wanted to make sure the little back set came back. I just put some weights on the middle, and the ends are on some blocks. It's been like that for a couple of days until I decide to sinew it within the next day or two. 10:30 and it's 93 degrees outside, so I put the two test pieces out here to bake, and around noontime I'll come out and see how they look. This is the Sinew that I put in the AE40, and you know, it's dry. It's dry. Let's see. See the fibers pulling. I hear it cracking. Let's crack it. Let's see how it comes apart or it don't. All right, it held together. I even broke the little light board. This is like a paint stirrer. It was a actually yardstick, but look, it's on there. And then this has to dry more, obviously. It's the tight bond. I'm just gonna let it dry and see what it looks like. But I gotta tell you that this is really, this is on there. This is really solid, the AE40. You see how hard it is to peel up. It's a little wet underneath. Still, it had to dry a little more, but it don't want to come off. Big choice. Just because it was messy to work with, I may go with the tight bond and wrap it. You know, obviously there's a lot of glue. You know, you want dilute it, put it on, wrap it, you know. Not like what I did for these test pieces, but could AE40 be done? Absolutely. Probably stronger too, but good morning. It's Thursday, June 26th, and it's a beautiful day today, except it's a little windy. We had a heat wave. The heat wave broke. It's beautiful out. And these are the test pieces of Sinew. I put AE40 on here, and when I mixed the AE40, they said you could dilute it with like 10-20% denatured alcohol. And it was, I said jello, but it's jelly-like. If you scoop up jelly, it's clumpy. It wasn't watery enough that I thought that the Sinew would absorb it. But as it dried now, when I look at it, you know, it's dry. I think it really would have did an awesome job, but I'm a little leery on using it right now on a bow that I put so much time into. Sometime in the future, maybe. But for now, I'm going to use tight bond. And this tight bond here, obviously, I clumped on a lot of glue. I just put it on. It was in the middle of the night. This is the last thing. And everybody uses tight bond because if you want a waterproof bow, okay? And I want a waterproof bow. I live on Long Island. We got a lot of moisture, a lot of, you know, moisture coming off of the ocean. And I wanted a waterproof bow, dependable bow, a shorter hunting bow. And so that's what we're going to do. Is first thing today is I took this out and I took a taper down on the end of the limbs and I shaped some buffalo horn tips, and we're going to glue the buffalo horn tips on with AE40. And you can see they match nice. Going to put them on with rubber bands. I don't have a point. I have a square end, and I'm going to lay the Sinew later up against this square end. It's going to be butted against the square end, and I know it'll shrink a little bit after I put it in. And I'm going to let it set up a little with the tight bond, and then after it sets up a little bit, then we're going to wrap it with an ace bandage, and we're going to put it away for a while. So that's it. Just want to give you an update. Going to put these horn tips on. As much as I really like the way this AE40 turned out on the Sinew, I really like it. I don't want to gamble with it at this point in time. Sometime in the future, I may revisit this because it actually even looks good. You know what I mean? But when I mixed it, it is that jelly-like clumpy consistency. It's messy. You gotta wear gloves. You gotta try not to make a mess. You'll have to do it outside, even though I did these test pieces inside. You know, you'll have to do it outside on a day that's not windy, so you don't have to blow your Sinew away. And I think it's worth, it is worth for me, or somebody else wants to make a video or try it, on revisiting the AE40 and Sinew. And once again, the reason why I'm not using the regular hide glue, which I could, and put it away and wrap it. I got plenty of time for hunting season. There's no drastic rush to make a bow. I have hunting bows I can grab and go in the woods tomorrow with if I want. Is that I want it to be waterproof. I'm older. I don't really go hunting in inclement weather anymore, but I just want to make a bow for me, shorter, dependable, that's waterproof. Moved into the house. You can see I have the horn tips glued on with AE40 and they're held on with rubber bands. In here I have the Type Bond 3 equal parts, water and Type Bond 3, and I have the Sinew split sort of evenly into long strands and short strands. And the beauty of it is, if I need more, I can always add more on, because yes, I looked it up and you can. Type Bond 3 will adhere to itself. So we're going to do half at a time. We're going to take it, we're going to lay it out, soak it, a little, let it soak up some water and Titebond. And I'm going to put the short pieces out too. I intend on using all of this. And we're going to work on half a limb first. I'm going to stop this here because I'm going to let it soak and get soft and absorb some of that Titebond. But first what I'm going to do is, you saw me rawhide back bows before. And whenever I use the Titebond, what I do is I take them, this is straight Titebond, and I rub it in. I want this wood to absorb the Titebond, okay? So here I am, I'm taking a regular Titebond, and I'm rubbing it along, and I'm going to let the wood drink up this Titebond. And in a minute I'm going to have, I'm going to show you, I got this bowl of water here, and you could just add a little water to it too, because you want the wood to drink up this Titebond, okay? Add a little water to it. Okay, I'm going to stop this video here, and basically that's what I'm going to do. Keep adding Titebond with water so it'll drink it up here while that's soaking. You see I had the limbs coated, both of them now, with the Titebond. Let the wood absorb some. Just a damp paper towel. I'm going to wipe the edges. You see where I have this cutout here where this vise is? There's a cardboard underneath on the floor to stop any drips or anything. And I'm just using a wet paper towel to wipe the edges of this up. When we start sinewing it, it's going to be a mess. But we're going to try to have a little bit of a controlled mess where there isn't so much glue dripping all over, because I'm going to keep on wiping it up. Okay. And I'm going to keep on getting water because I want it to be not dry. I want it to be a little tacky. This limb's drinking up a lot of water, which is good. We want the Titebond and water to get into the wood. Let's check on this sinew. Oh, I think it's getting soft. It's soft. And what we're going to do is, I got the regular Titebond here. We're going to run a little Titebond through and wipe it off. I'm just going to lay a couple of strands down first. Okay, granted, you see people put down big clumps at once. And I'm new to this. And I'm going to lay it down like everybody suggests, like an overlay. You overlay it. And this will keep this wet. So we got time to do this. This ain't like a rush job here. We got time to do this. There was a lot of Titebond on there, so you see I skipped the dunking process on 2 of them. It's because there was enough Titebond there. I got one of these ends that are flared out, and that's okay. It's gone now. And you can't really, they say you can't wipe it because it will move everything. But if you hold the ends, it seems like I can do that. Am I going to have enough? I think I'm going to have plenty. Believe it or not. Like you saw, I have this tilled, and it had a pristine back. It's just that it's going to be a short bow. It's going to be a very short bow for, you know, what I'm using it for, a short hunting bow. This end here, I'm just not happy with its thick. So we're going to get rid of that. So I will not bore you with me taking each strand at a time and laying it down and filling in spaces. And the long ones, I want the long ones to really reach out on the limbs and put short ones as fillers. Okay. I'm going to stop this here, not to drive you crazy. I'm going to lay some out and then I'll get back to you. Just to give you a little update, I've been taking a strand at a time, dunking it in the glue, out of that glue water, and laying it down where I think it needs to be. And just pushing down, tapping down. Okay, I don't have an overabundance of glue. I'm just tapping, not pushing or adjusting. I'm just making sure everything's laying flat. If I have to take a little dab of glue, I can put a little glue down. Okay, and I'm just making sure the edges are secure. It's okay if it overhangs a little. We can take it down later. And when I'm trying to clean up some of the mess, I just pat on the edge. And as far as these limbs buttoned here, I could use a razor to cut them off later, but I'm trying to trim them and lay them down while they're still wet. This limb is pretty much done. I'm going to start working on the top limb. There's like maybe 3 or 4 spots I'm going to lay some material on. But I just wanted to give you the update that as I'm laying them down, what I did at first was I laid them down and then I kind of moved everything to each edge. I guess it would be harder to get the edges, so I kind of slid everything over to the edge and then filled the middle in, and that seemed to work out well. So I'm going to continue and I'll show you when I'm done with the top limb. Yeah, just finished the top limb. Pretty happy with it. Just put one more little piece in here. And what I've been doing was I just push my 2 fingers so that the sinew is not really hanging off the edge that bad. I know we're gonna sand it and all, but when we wrap this, we don't want it being pushed off. And I'm patting it down, patting it down. Okay, and I'm gonna get a little more glue here. I did this on the bottom limb too. All I'm going to do is just take my finger and pat it down like this, tap it. And you don't want to rub it because you'll pick up the fibers, so you just kind of like tapping it. Don't want to go too crazy. Kind of filling in spaces, and you don't want to make it thick. I'm gently going across. I'm trying not to pick anything up because if I do, I got to stop and correct it. I just want to get everything covered. I think it's looking really good. I think the Type On was the good decision to make. It takes a lot of time. I don't know. See how this bow turns out. I don't know. I don't know if I have many of these in my future because I don't I don't think I have the patience. I mean, this took a long time. I'm laying them down. I see people set them up and they lay big clumps down. And I don't know, to me that I have to lay down. I laid each one of these just about a strand at a time, so you can imagine how long it took. And I kept on making sure that the limb was damp with watered down Type-On. And then at the end, when I'm laying the sinew, if there was a spot, I would touch it actually with the Type-On. So yeah, just pick this up now, and then you got to look at the fibers and see which way it's going so you can correct it out. Okay? One was going this way, and one is going this way. Okay? And I corrected it, but you can't, you got to be careful. You can't rub your finger and move this. So I'm going to let this set up. It looks good. I'm going to let this set up and let it dry a little bit before I wrap it, because the sinew over time will shrink. And that's the idea, wrapping it up in the ace bandages that'll keep on the bow, and it'll shrink within that expandable, ace bandage. So it's looking real good. I have this much sinew left. Yeah, I'll have to decide if I'm going to put another layer on, but I got to tell you, I put so much on, and carefully. I put it so carefully on top of each other, filled in spaces. I may just let this go. Like I said, I had to till it already. It's not a weak wood. It's fire hardened hickory that's 60 inches, and I think it should work out well. And I'm very pleased with the way it looks. So I'm going to stop it here for now. And very carefully took this out of the clamp just to show you what it looks like. I'm going to put it back in the clamp, let it set up a little, and then I'm going to wrap it with the gauze. Okay, I had to touch it, right? It's all good. Back in the clamp, let it set up. And then a little gauze wrap. Okay, gonna let it set up. Just check that spot I hit. I moved it, went right back down. All good. Let it set up and wrap it. Early on, when I rawhide back the bow with Type-On, I had a Facebook friend said, "Joe, I just lay it on and squeegee it out, and I put my hands over it too and make sure it's attached rawhide, and I let it dry just like that. I don't wrap it. I don't want no marks on it." And the next day, you're able to take a razor knife and trim the edges and have this really nice rawhide backing that don't have no lines, no grooves. So I'm always reluctant to wrap something up with gauze. So I wanted this to set up a little, and it's still sticky. And I know I'm going to sand it. But I went outside. I had a tree guy down the block says, "Joe, I got some hickory for you." So 2 logs. I could probably make 2 bows, and 2 logs are just firewood. But I'm grateful to get it. I gave him some money for it. He was happy to get the money. And while I was doing that, I went outside and I was peeling the bark and cambium off. Time went by. So I believe it was 1:30 I stopped, and it's 4:30. So it's been a while. But I was always leery. I'm leery about wrapping this, but it's set up a little. I'm going to try and be careful, and I'm going to try and wrap this. So let's see how I do. Up, down. They say on the upstroke and down, try not to lift it have it stretched out a little bit, and then come up and down, up and down. So there's no real glue to squeeze out. So up and down. Got a few rolls of this. I won't drive you crazy, but I'm going to do this one roll in front of you. Up, down. And the only reason I could see doing this really now is as it's drying, sinew tends to shrink. And you want that sinew to be adhered to the wood. And if anything, and it's snug enough, sometimes you can get a little back set as it's drying. I don't know if that's going to happen with this, because I know the Type-On dries pretty good. I have a few rolls of this gauze here, this wrap. I really don't want the sinew to move. I kind of like the way it is. Okay, I'm going to move this down a little bit. I'm going to hold it too, because I don't want too much pressure on that limb I got between the vise. Okay, I actually have it around the armrest shelf, going around the grip now, and I'm going to stop it over here. I have those little clips. I'm going to clip it to itself here, and then I'm going to go back over that riser. It seemed to work out. I'm going to start at the other end, and now that I know where it ends, I'm going to end at the riser again. Just going to leave it like that and do the other end now. Okay, so that's it. We got it mummified now, and I'll show you when I'm done. But that's the first time I'm wrapping it sinew, and like I said, I'm a little leery about it because I had wrapped rawhide one time and I put lines in it, and I was very unhappy with it. And then after a Facebook friend said he never wraps it, I never wrapped it again, and it was always excellent. Just going to stop it here. I have the elastic bandages wrapped around it. It's mummified. And now it's going to sit for 1 month. Okay, in 1 month, we're going to open it up and see what it looks like. And we're going to sand it, cut string grooves, and see if I have to make any changes. Add sinew or no sinew. The great thing about what I confirmed with the Type-On is you could just add more sinew and Type-On right on top of this if you had to. Okay, so 1 month, we're going to open this up like a Christmas present early in 1 month and see what it looks like. Thanks for watching. that's going to be the end of this sinew wrapping, sinew video here. And then there'll be another video of the unveiling, sanding, and shooting of this sucker. So thanks for watching. Every day you get up is a great day. Do something.